Good morning, race fans. Welcome to another day of live coverage from Lostallo in Switzerland. My name is Frank McKinney, and with pullstart.tv, RCTV is bringing you this live coverage of the EFRA large-scale touring car and Formula One European Championships from the MRTM Club in Lostallo, Switzerland. So thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you are looking forward to some fantastic racing today. We want to thank our sponsors, rccaronline.de, RC Fox, SCSM2. These are three fantastic model shops online. You can check them out, do a Google search, and you can look for some great large-scale racing brands such as Mechatech Racing Components and also Samba airboxes and exhausts for large-scale racing cars. So we have drivers in the pits. They're lined up in number order, just about. So this is the one, well, as you can see at the top, this is the 1/4 B final run. So they have going out for, I think, yeah, the timekeeper has paused the timing. They're just very slightly a couple minutes late. But they're going to be going out for their warm-up period, 3 minutes of warm-up. And at the 2-minute mark before the race starts, they'll be called into the pits, and then they'll go out for a final formation lap to get lined up on the grid, and a race official will make sure that they are lined up in the proper order, and hopefully no one has any issues. We have seen several cars get pulled off and start from the pit lane, basically, where their mechanics pulled them off. And so we are looking forward to some good racing today. So let's see who is in this group going out right now. So let's just refresh the timing page. So we've got Michael Donovan from Germany, Daniel Wicki from Switzerland, Sven Rodewald from Germany, Simone Curcio from Italy, from Switzerland, we've got Matthias Domig, Felix Horens, Patrick Muller. From the Netherlands, we have Marco Harleman and Luc Vandenberg, and Sam Vaser from Switzerland. So Harleman, Vandenberg, and Vaser bumped up from the 1/8 B final. So they are starting in positions 8, 9, and 10. And we've got the quarterfinal, the drivers that qualified directly into the quarterfinal were Donovan, Wicki, Rodewald, Curcio, Domig, Horens, and Muller. So they did a bit better than Harleman, Vandenberg, and Vaser, who they had to run in the 8th final, 1/8 final. So hopefully I don't have to explain that over and over again, because I feel that I do sometimes, but I'm not sure if I have gotten it properly correct. But anyway, it's hard to explain it. It's much better with a graph or a video or something like that, some sort of visual aid. Anyway, if you are joining us from wherever you are in the world, we usually, on our morning broadcasts, we tend to have a lot of racers and race fans and RC fanatics from New Zealand and Australia and across Asia joining us in the live chat on RC Racing TV's YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. So let us know where you're joining us from, and let us know if you're following any particular racer and who you're cheering on. If you're watching us from the UK or mainland Europe, again, pop in, let us know where you're from. There's lots of, I think there's still a couple of British racers in with a shout here of moving up or at least having a race for today. Today, just so you guys know what the general schedule is, let's see here. I can bring that up. So the time schedule for today is the 3rd of August. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday morning for us here in the UK. We're commentating from the UK with the live video feed thanks to Pullstart from Switzerland. So all the times that I'm going to be mentioning here are from Central European time. It's the local time for Switzerland, where the race is being held. So obviously, right now we've got the quarterfinal B, followed by the quarterfinal A for large-scale touring car. This is the open category, so there's a open and a sports class, and basically it's a very one sentence rundown. Basically, the sport class is new for 2024 and basically means you have to run stock Zenoa style engines. That's it. There's a couple of very minor modifications that are allowed, such as mountings and engine cover colors for the engine cover. But other than that, it's a almost a stock engine class, I suppose you can call it, and it seems to be pretty popular. It's actually completely full, and the racing has been very tight indeed. After the quarterfinal B and A for all the other three classes, the other two classes, I should say, Formula One and Sport, they had all of their lower finals yesterday, the 1/8 and 1/4, and it's the open category that had, I think, that went down to 130 seconds yesterday. So after the quarterfinals, we'll have 3 10-minute runs for timed practice for the two drivers in each of the categories that qualified directly into the main final. So for Formula One, that was Marino and Rossignoli. So it's France versus Italy. For the open class, that was Verbrugge and D'Amico, who is absolutely untouchable. And it was Tyson and at the moment, I can't remember the second place driver's name in the sport categories. But right now, we're about to start the quarterfinal B. And we're just a few seconds away from starting. So top 3 drivers will be bumping up into the main final. The semifinal for this, which will be kicking off at 1:30 local time. So here we go. They are off and away. Lead 3 drivers already nose to tail and gapping 4th place of Rodewald. So Donovan in the white, yellow, and blue, Wiki and Curcio. So Rodewald, the loser so far on this one. Looks like they're already spacing out a bit. The top 3 moved around a bit. So who's fallen out? It's Wiki who's fallen out. Rodewald taking his place back on 3rd position. Curcio, the winner here so far. Vandenberg and Vaser moving up from the 9th and 10th positions to occupy 4th and 5th. So they will be challenging for those bump up positions. Rodewald and Vandenberg, they didn't meet on track last weekend, but they were both racing in the large-scale off-road European Championships in Honbeck, Brest, France last weekend. So Vandenberg, the new and current two-wheel drive European champion for off-road, and Rodewald, last year's four-wheel drive champion. So Donovan chased by Curcio. So if these two play it smart, they should just don't go over any crazy passes, because then they'll both get taken out potentially, or one of them might have to suffer a penalty. So Curcio, the big loser, Wiki, the loser so far from that number 2 position, dropping down to 7th. But we have seen this happen in many of the races yesterday, where one of the top 3 racers will fall out dramatically, even down to 8th and 9th place, and actually be able to come back up. And in the case of, I believe it was Ramon, I can't remember the last name, but we had a driver actually win after dropping from first to ninth and come back all the way through the field over the course of 20 minutes and win the final. So Donovan now gapping Curcio. Rodewald trying to hold off. See if we can follow that number 3 car of Rodewald. Being chased by Vandenberg and Vaser. Vandenberg in the green car, Rodewald in the car with the pink back. Meanwhile, up front, Donovan making the fastest lap already. 25.3. Fastest lap we've seen in this class is 20. What is it? 23.8 was it? Absolutely insanely fast. 23.8. Yeah. So Rodewald being chased by Vandenberg. They're about a second apart. So it's up to Vandenberg to catch Rodewald. Rodewald, he knows how to drive under pressure. As we get to the sharp end of the field here, drivers just getting better and better at holding under pressure. 15.5 minutes remaining. No refueling in this category, remember. Curcio now overtaking Donovan. 2.5 seconds ahead. Didn't see what happened to Donovan, but Curcio's got a nice little gap on him already. That's with 15 seconds to go. So Curcio now taking the top spot on the, not just on the leaderboard, but on the fastest lap as well. Vandenberg now catching Sven, just less than a second behind. Rodewald and Vandenberg together now. We can see them just coming underneath the camera right there. That yellow, blue, and pink is Rodewald, and the all-green car. There's some sort of graphic in the middle. I'm going to assume it's lots and lots of sponsor stickers. Number 9 green car is Luc Vandenberg from the Netherlands. So it's Germany versus Netherlands up front, and Italy versus Germany. Italy and Germany up front, and for that third position, it's Germany versus Netherlands. 0.5 second apart now. These two coming up on lap traffic already of the orange car. I'm not sure who that is, but who's that with them? I want to say it's Horens. Referee's doing a good job of making sure that the drivers are well aware that drivers are coming up behind them. Faster cars. So Donovan now taking over the 20 with a 25.226, just 0.1 of a second faster than Curcio. Taking the fastest lap away from Curcio. They don't care about that. That's more for us to talk about. Curcio and Donovan up front, just a half a second apart. And looks like Sven is able to hold off Vandenberg, or Vandenberg is just keeping his powder dry. There's still 12.5 minutes left in this one. It's a 20-minute race, so compared to electric touring car or even 12 scale with the 8-minute races, these are quite long races. There's a lot that can happen in a 20-minute race, and these guys trying to make it into the semi-final, so they're driving smart. Like I said, Vandenberg and Rodewald, both experienced racers in 30-minute main finals, because that's what they had the race last weekend at the large-scale off-road Euros. Meanwhile, Vaser and Harleman immediately behind Rodewald and Vandenberg, so it's turning into a four-way battle for third. So a single mistake is going to cost Rodewald absolutely a massive amount. There they are all together, freight train running through the infield. That yellow, blue, and pink car followed by the green car of Vandenberg, the white and orange. And so, going off track. I think that was Donovan trying to go for a pass on the infield. A really unfortunate result there. So I think he's going to drop back, way back. Yes, so Daniel Wicke making up another spot, number 2 car. Daniel Wicke now 3 seconds behind Vaser. And another car getting rescued. I'm not sure who that was there right in the middle, but oh man, was that Rodewald? Because now it's Vandenberg, Vaser, and Wicke. No, it was Donovan. It was Donovan now falling way, way down the order. Curcio, Rodewald, and Vandenberg now are battle. Let's see how close they are on track. It's still, so that battle for third is now turned into a battle for second with Rodewald and Vandenberg, Sam Vaser. Daniel Wicke still trying to catch up. Michael Donovan, big loser out of that sequence of events. So Curcio pretty much on his own now with a 10-second lead over Sven Rodewald. Still Italy being chased by Germany, but this time it's Sven Rodewald taking up the flag. Followed by Vandenberg from the Netherlands and Vaser and Wicke, who are getting closer together all the time. Vaser nearly caught up to Vandenberg. See that green car being chased by the orange and green. Driver's on pace at the moment to do 48 laps in 20 minutes. It's just under 9 minutes remaining. And there's Sven with that yellow and pink car being chased by the green car of Vandenberg. That's the battle for second. Closest battle out there at the moment, but Vaser is catching Vandenberg. So it's going to be a 3-way battle for second, which incorporates the battle for, well, it's basically second, third, fourth. So a battle for the final bump up spot. Getting to, and Vaser's made a mistake. But there we go, underneath the camera. That's the yellow and pink of Sven Rodewald. Curcio still with a 11.6 second lead. Vandenberg less than half a second behind Rodewald. Trying to pile that pressure on. And you might be thinking, if you've never raced at the European Championship level, you might be thinking, well, why doesn't he just bump him out of the way? it's not quite that easy. You can't. Yes, it's touring cars, but it's not. It's not bumper cars or club karting. You have to keep a clean pass, and hopefully that car number 2 who slid out didn't drive into the path of oncoming traffic there, but doesn't look like it did. So Curcio, Rodewald, Vandenberg. So our top 3. Vicky. Looks like he's fallen behind. Vicky's made a mistake. Okay, so that was that number 2 that we saw sliding out. That was Vicky falling out of the 4th place. So now it's Vaser and Donovan together chasing, well, battling with each other and trying to chase Vandenberg down for 3rd place. And that was 2nd place qualifier Daniel Wicke that slid out just underneath our camera position about a lap ago. So it was Daniel Wicke sliding out of contention for 4th place at the moment anyway. With 6 minutes, 30 seconds left. Almost anything can happen. Very, very, very unlikely that these drivers will run out of fuel because the cars will last for just about 30 minutes if they're very careful. And keep in mind that the main final is 30 minutes, so that includes the formation lap and the final lap. So they will be absolutely brimmed to capacity. And yes, they are very carefully checked for fuel tank capacity. So the final couple of laps, or the final few minutes sometimes of the, especially in very hot conditions, which we have seen the last couple of days here in Lostallo. On hot conditions, the engines run very, very hot, so the engines, they consume more fuel, so the drivers have to be super careful. And we have seen European Championships lost in the past to cars running out of fuel on the last lap, on the second to last lap, and having to slow down. But there's another driver coming up behind, so you can't let him pass. It's a hugely intensive, very, very intense final few minutes, usually. And Vandenberg super close to Rodewald there, running directly under the rear wing of that yellow and pink car. Rodewald doing really well, running in the MCD. I'm not sure exactly which car Vandenberg is running. Let's see if I can bring up that information actually. Yeah, he didn't provide that information on his tech sheet to the organizers. So there we go. They're passing the finish line again. That series of 3 lines across the track on the infield there, that is the official finishing line with 4 minutes to go. Rodewald's doing a fantastic job of holding off Vandenberg, although Luke doesn't seem to be going for any monster passes. It's just maintaining that pressure, Donovan, meanwhile, has, it looks like he's passed Vaser for 4th place, and let's see how close he is to catching these guys. Donovan is, he's a couple seconds behind, about 2.5 seconds behind Rodewald and Vandenberg, although I think Vandenberg just made a mistake, yes, and that has allowed Donovan through for 3rd place. So we're following the number 1 car. So we have 2 green cars, basically. The first green car is Michael Donovan, I believe. Let's see when they cross the line here. So no, that was the number 5. So the Vaser is the green car. Rodewald is the yellow, blue, and pink, running 2nd. Donovan is the white, yellow, and blue that is now trying to catch up to Rodewald. So now if Donovan plays it smart, and I've said this before, he's in third place. He's in the number 10 spot for the semifinal B. Play it smart and just stay where you are and hold your position. If Rodewald does make a mistake, then you can take advantage. And who's this who's just come off the track? I didn't see the number of the marshal. That may have been our leader, Curcio. Might have been because Curcio running a white body. No, it wasn't because Sven has just crossed. So, yeah, so Sven and Donovan there, and Vandenberg and Vaser, the second pair of cars. The pair of green cars is Vandenberg and Vaser. The two cars just ahead of them, and that yellow and pink, that and the white car chasing them is Rodewald and Donovan. Curcio still, he's slowed down a bit. I think maybe that was him that made the mistake, but he did have an 11 or 12-second lead. Now it's down to 6.8. So he's made a mistake somewhere, or he's just slowing down with a minute and a half to go. Now it's down to Vandenberg to try and chase down Donovan, and he's going to have to be aggressive, make a pass, because now these four cars are almost together, and we're down to the final two laps. Vandenberg, you can see, look at that, fastest lap for Vandenberg, 24.9. He doesn't have the time, though. That's he would need probably another 3 or 4 minutes to catch up, and then he'd have to make a very aggressive pass, yet clean. So with 45 seconds remaining, it's Curcio, Rodewald, and Donovan. Vicky crashing out early and unable to recover, but Donovan crashing out from the lead and dropping down to, I think it was 5th or 6th. And he certainly recovered, back up into 3rd. Rodewald running 4th for most of the race, and then 3rd for about, I suppose, about half the race, actually. But Curcio taking big advantage there, starting 4th, and going to be taking the win. He's on his final lap with just a few seconds remaining. Oh, no, he's got one more lap. He's got one more lap, but Rodewald and Donovan and Vandenberg, that is how close it was, literally as soon as I say the name, they're crossing the line. So that is Rodewald and Donovan bumping up with Curcio starting number 8 in the semifinal B. So just noting that down on my pad. So as the first race of the day complete, let us know what you think of that on the RC Racing TV YouTube channel, on YouTube or on Facebook. So just going to shoot a very quick message to Sven and congratulate him on that. That's some amazing pressure. The other races have been talking with Marcus Feldman and Hessel Roskam, both former world champions, and Eduardo Rapetti, European champion from last year. From 2 years ago. Just wishing them luck and seeing how they're feeling. They all say they're feeling good. Marcus Feldman saying he's going to be pushing hard. He just barely missed out on getting directly into the main final. Remember, these classes, top 2 drivers qualify directly into the main final. And so there's our official finishing order. Wiki taking the fastest lap, but not bumping up, unfortunately, with that number 2 car. So here's our pit lane camera. So we'll just go quiet for a couple minutes while the next group of cars, they're already out on track. race already off and running. Go Gonzalez, Krikri, Pajalan, Hake, John Williams, Hornig, and it's a massive cluster of cars going through the infield. All of them nose to tail. Heisenberg, Schmidt, and Viña Couto are bump-up racers. Still running at the back. Everybody looks like they're in number order, which is, well, to be fair, a bit rare. So first lap, nice and clean. Starting to see, ooh, Heisenberg, who's that? Pajalan and John having some trouble and falling to the very back. Williams right there with them. A couple of cars now, they're starting to really get spaced out. Krikri, Go Gonzalez, and Hake swapping around the order. It's our new top three. So Krikri, Gonzalez, and Hake, and Hornig, two pairs of cars very, very close together. Another pair of cars battling for fifth and sixth is Schmidt and Viña Couto, our bump-up racers. So not gigantic gaps between our top three drivers, top four. Krikri and Gonzalez, Hake and Hornig, and Schmidt and Viña Couto. So it's Switzerland and Spain, two Germans, and a Swiss and a Spaniard. So Go Gonzalez made a mistake somewhere along the way. He's got allowed Krikri to have a nice lead of about 3.5 seconds or so. And now all these cars are now all together. Go Gonzalez, Hornig, Hake, Schmidt, Viña Couto. 5 cars running nose to tail. So a single mistake, this is our battle for second. A single mistake here is going to cost very, very dear. Hopefully nothing happens, but referees will be watching this very, very intently. Oh, 2 cars crashing together in the infield. Didn't see the marshal number there. The marshals are basically the mechanics for the individual cars. In case this is your first time watching large-scale touring car. Krikri with a pretty handy lead now. It's about 5 seconds, I think. Go Gonzalez, Viña Couto now moving up. Hornig, Schmidt, Hake, Heisenberg losing out big time in that battle for second. So now it's the 5 cars that are battling are Go Gonzalez in the 1, Viña Couto in the 10, Hornig in the 7, Schmidt in the 9, and Hake in the 4. He's a little bit behind. Ramon Schmidt, our number 1 racer from a couple races back in this category, and a couple of finals back, I should say. Starting in the 1, he knows how to move forward because he started in the 1 car, dropped down to 9th position, and battled his way all the way forward to take first position. And here he is starting in the number 9. I think he had a double bump up. So Krikri, Go Gonzalez, we're following Viña Couto in that line of cars. Another pass going coming out of the infield. Couldn't quite see who that was. So Go Gonzalez, Viña Couto, and Hornig. Very, very close together on track. just under 15 minutes to go. This is the quarterfinal A run. We've just seen the quarterfinal B just before this one. After this race, we have 3 warm-up periods for the 3 different categories of cars. We have an upside-down car in the infield. Who's that running out? Someone is going to be dropping way down the order and losing a couple of positions there, at least 3 or 4, possibly 5 positions. Mechanics have to, the mechanics for the individual cars are have to be the turn marshal. And the white and green car now, who is that that's falling way down? I think that is Bajalan, but I'm not sure. No, Bajalan's already out, so it's white and green. I think that's Vinyakoto, actually. Vinyakoto running a white and green car. Meanwhile, it can't be Vinyakoto because he's still about a second behind Go Gonzalez. Hazenberg, Pajalin, and John, now 3 drivers out of the race. We're down to 7. Maximum of 10 cars allowed on the grids, because although we have seen 14 drivers in the some of the qualifiers at this exact event, not all tracks are able to hold that number of racers on the track at one time safely. So FR rules limit the finals to 10 cars. So top 3 bumping up out of this one into the semifinal A. Crickery, Go Gonzalez, and Vinyakoto currently in that position. Vinyakoto with a nice fat lead over Maximilian Hornig. So no battle for third at the moment. And Crickery has a pretty handy lead of about 9 seconds, as you can see on screen there, over Go Gonzalez. So with that, we'll just cover some housekeeping while we're waiting for the battles to develop. 12 minutes left in this one. So first of all, we want to thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you're watching us from, whether it's on the Pull Start channel, on EFRA, Facebook or YouTube, or on the RC Racing TV, YouTube or Facebook. If you want to ask your questions or have any comments or corrections, I'm happy to be corrected. It's very hard to see the car numbers, and I don't know the drivers' racing schemes. I only generally see these guys race on the track at best once a year. And I only know some of the top drivers' racing schemes, and they haven't been out yet today, so I do apologize for that. But we are taking any comments and whatnot on the RC Racing TV YouTube channel. So please drop us a line on there, and we'll be happy to respond and see what you think. Let us know what you think. We have had a couple of comments already. So Lutok saying thank you for the live stream. It's such a beautiful place to be racing. Yes, it is absolutely beautiful. I'm so sad, honestly, that I'm not there in person. Even if I were commentating in the same fashion with the camera system that we've got, normally we would love to be there with a proper moving camera and commentator, but just circumstances have led us to the resolution that we've got here. So we do want to thank pullstart.tv for providing the images this weekend. So Step Back 123 saying amazing backdrop. Yes, it absolutely is. Look at that view right there. looking up or down the valley. I'm not sure which way. I think it's north. I'm not sure. But Blind Goose One saying morning, morning everybody. Uh, Hello and welcome to the broadcast wherever you're watching us from. Um, so we also want to thank our our sponsors. Excuse me, RC Fox, SCSM2, and RCCarOnline.de. Do a search for them online, find the web shop, and check them out. If you do purchase anything from them, drop a line in the notes just saying that thanks to RCTV and Pullstart TV and the EFRA coverage from the large-scale touring car and Formula One European Championships that you've discovered their shop. Johannes55RC saying hello from Austria. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Yeah, I didn't say. So what? Okay, so Switzerland generally, as for what I'm told reliably by a Swiss native, generally the families tend to speak at least two languages out of uh, the three most common ones. So Italian, German, and what's it? French. So I tried to say bonjour, guten morgen, and buongiorno. So there we go. I usually do that at the start of the broadcast, but we're a little bit different situation this weekend. So yeah, so I forgot to do that. So bonjour, guten morgen, and buongiorno to everybody who's joined us for today. This is the finals day for the EFRA Large Scale Track European Championships. We are live from Lostallo, the amazing MRTM club in Lostallo, Switzerland, literally just north of Milan and Lake Como. So, yes, thank you very much for joining us on this stream. So, just under 8 minutes to go, and we have a very, kind of a non-battle between Crickery, Gil Gonzalez, and Hornig, who are our top three racers. Tom Hockett trying to close down the gap to Maximilian Hornig in this final 8 minutes, but it looks like he's about over 10 seconds behind Hornig. So it's going to be a very tough battle. There you go, 10.8 seconds with 7.5 minutes left. It's going to be nigh on impossible. It's going to be very difficult for that to happen. But fingers crossed for Tom, and fingers crossed for Maximilian to hold off Tom. So all we want to see is good racing and a good battle. Of course, we don't want to see anybody drop out because of mechanical issue or bad driving or a mistake on their part or anything like that. But it's racing; things happen. Meanwhile, what else can we cover? So in this category, we've got in this European Championships. If for those of you who have only seen large-scale touring car racing on RC Racing TV European Championship coverage, this year we have an additional category of racing, which is the touring car sport class. We will see them in action in the semifinal in about, let's see, we will see them in action in a bit. I'm trying not to cover too many things at once, but and jump around. So the sport category is the same exact cars and everything except for the engine as the. So if you take a touring car open category car, which is what we're watching right now, and a touring car sport car, the only difference is going to be the engine. The touring car sport cars not allowed to have modified engines. There are very few limited modifications. I think some stuff like the carburetor bracket and the engine cover color, that sort of thing. Very, sort of durability, minor durability upgrades are allowed, basically. In the open category, they're much faster because of the engines, and obviously, it costs a lot more. Ooh, and it's a yellow and green car flipping over there just before the finish line. Finish line here in Lostallo, in the middle of the track. So there you see there's a couple of loops there. And what else is there? We've also got large scale F1, which, as we've seen in the last couple of years, is basically a battle between Italy and France. So Sebastian Marino, the last couple of years that I've been attending these large scale track Euros, Marino has absolutely dominated and run away with things, but this time not so much. So Sebastiano Rossignoli from Italy um, uh, actually setting the TQ and the fastest laps, and looks like if if we base it purely on that, looks like he is certainly going to win. But um, he's put up a good fight previously last year in Groningen and the year before in Fiorano. Um, and so these guys, they probably don't meet up very often on track because obviously they're in different countries, but they maybe do see each other at the EFRA Grand Prix races, which is a series of races. There's 3 or 4 of these that happen throughout the year, and then there's like major races, that are not affiliated with EFRA but use the EFRA rules, similar to like the Montpellier GP or like Psycho Nitro Blast or something like a big race, like you would have. Um, and so anyway, they don't see each other on track very often. So it's very interesting that it's basically the fight is between them. And uh, uh, this time around, it's Rossignoli who's TQ and Marino who is chasing him down. But both of them have qualified directly into the main final, which is how it works in the large scale touring car and F1 category. It's not like 1/8 and 1/10 IC or electric. The 1/10 and 1/8 track cars used to do that, I believe, in the old days. But now, uh, no, actually, it's a top 4, isn't it? The qualifying 1/8, 1/10. Anyway, getting sidetracked yet again. The first practice for the main drivers who have qualified directly into the main will be the F1 car. So we'll see them on track. We will probably go quiet during that time, just because it's literally just the 2 cars on track and not even for the entire time. They're just given 10 minutes of time and they can run, they can not run, they probably will run just so they familiarize themselves with the current track conditions. But basically, they've been running all week. They know what the track conditions are like. They know what tires, pretty much what they're going to choose. The weather is not going to change. So that's yeah. So F1 will have 10 minutes of racing, 10 minutes of warm up, and then it'll be the 2 sport drivers, and then the top 2 drivers in the Touring Car Open, which is again this category that we're watching now. I'm just keeping track of the time. We've just got about 2 minutes left in this one. So we will come back onto comms at after this race at for the sub-final B, or the semi-final as we like to call it. The semi-final B starts for F1 at 10:39. That's Central European time. They are running very slightly behind schedule already, so it's probably going to be about 10:45 local time. And then at about 11:50 local times, it's roughly an hour later, will be the semifinal B for the sport category. Then we'll have a complete 1 hour lunch break. So we might be stopping the live broadcasts on RCTV and EFRA, and then come back for the semifinal at 1:30. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. The easiest way to not be worried about and actually have to set your alarm is to literally just to subscribe to the YouTube channel for EFRA or Facebook or Pullstart. Sorry, EFRA, RCTV, or Pullstart. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Hit the little bell. And that way you'll get a notification on your phone or tablet or your computer or whatever you watch us on. I don't have a smart TV, so I imagine maybe your TV will pop up as well. Meanwhile, and that will let you know when we are back live. So we got 20 seconds left in this one. We'll go back and finish this race. 20 seconds left in this one, and Crickery, I did miss Gil Gonzalez dropping down to 4th, so I do apologize for that. But Crickery, Haka, and Hornig. So Hornig and Go Gonzalez both got passed by Tom Hockett. So it's a fantastic job for him, but really unfortunate for Go Gonzalez. So I'm not sure when that happened, but it was in the last few minutes, I believe. So do apologize for that. Just taking care of a little bit too much housekeeping for this during this semifinal A. I thought it was all pretty much decided, but sometimes, you know, it isn't. So Crickery, Hockett, and Hornig bumping up into the semifinal A. So great job for Hockett. Really unfortunate for the number one car of Oriol Go Gonzalez. So Cesar Pereira saying good morning from Portugal and saying Via Real Portugal has a radio model track. I know. I've been there a few times. So it's a fantastic facility to visit. And actually, the first race I went to see, I think that was when Arnaldi won there. Um, and yes, so there's been international and Grand Prix races at Villarreal. Villarreal is absolutely beautiful. I would say, I mean, Cesar, I would say almost as beautiful as Lostallo. I do apologize, but I mean the setting here is amazing. The setting in Villarreal is beautiful as well. We love visiting Villarreal. The hospitality and the family that um, do most of the organizing there absolutely amazing. So I was there. I think it was last year and I think the year before. So very much hoping to go back again. So Heather W saying supporting GB two racers are left. So Jarrett Williams in this race, who unfortunately didn't make it out, so finished seventh overall, and Matt Buxton in the quarterfinal, the semifinal B. So yeah, that's great. I did send Matt a message yesterday. I did copy and paste it because I was trying to message Ian Suddy as well, but so I accidentally called him Ian, but I did message him and just say, how's Team GB? How are you? How's the track? How's the car? All that, but I didn't get anything back. So drop him a message, Heather, and tell him to reply back to me. Um, yeah. So as I said earlier, we are going to just we'll obviously continue with the broadcast, but we'll be back after the main finals practice because it's basically just going to be two cars out on track and they're practicing. So the times mean nothing because they could be trying absolutely anything. Could be trying full fuel. They could be trying zero fuel. We don't know what they're going to be doing. So the times mean nothing. There's not really a whole lot to catch up on. Um, and so we'll come back for the semifinal B for uh, Formula One uh, starts at about 10:45. That's local time. That's Central European time. So we'll be back at about 9:45 UK time. So it's about 50 minutes from now. So keep the stream going, or if you go away, come back within an hour for the semifinal B for Formula One. Okay, and welcome back to our coverage of the EFRA Large Scale Touring Car and Formula One European Championships. So, what you've just been watching, or listening to, or just seeing on screen has been the practices for the three different main finals, and that's the order that they will run in if you were watching. So, Formula One semifinals and main final will be up first. As you can see, the semifinal is up. Semifinal B practice group is out now, and then we'll have the touring car sport, and then we'll have the touring car open category will be out last after our lunch break. So we will be going off. We'll be having a lunch break for a little bit, and we'll start a new broadcast. So make sure that you are subscribed and hit the bell, and so that you are sure to be notified. Whether you're watching us on RCTV, Pullstart, or EFRA, YouTube, or Facebook, make sure that you are following the page, like the page and channel, and follow, like, subscribe. You know what to do. You know the rules. So we are just about 2 minutes away from the semifinal B, starting in a few minutes here. So first up, we've got the semifinal B and then the semifinal A for Formula One, and the top 4 drivers. So this time we're following the top 4 drivers. So it's that battle for 4th and 5th. That's going to be our focus. Top 4 drivers will be promoted into the main final from each of these semifinals. And as you saw on track, Rosignoli, pretty quick. Marino, maybe he was running. We don't know. Obviously, it's a bit like watching the Formula One testing days at the track during the weekends. We don't know what fuel strategy they're running. We don't know what tires are running. They could be running, trying to get a 30-minute setup rather than a 10-minute setup, which would be the wise thing to do if you're practicing for the main final. But if you're watching that final, mains practice for the top 2 qualifiers in Formula One, Marino has some pace to catch up. Needs to pick up some pace to catch Rosignoli, but Marino could be practicing his setup and tire choice for the main final, which is 30 minutes rather than 20 that we've seen here coming up in the semifinal B, and obviously 30 minutes much longer than the 10-minute practice that we just saw them do. So this is the semifinal B. Racers in this one: Marcus Mickelberger from Germany, Corentin Laville from France in car 2. Car 3 from Spain, Alberto Garcia Rotero. From Switzerland, Roger Luscher is in car 4. Carlos Fabregas Carroll from Spain is in car 5. Then we have Silvio Bomission, Mario Dada, Sander Visser, Matt Buxton from the UK, and Cor Pruim from the Netherlands. So best of luck to all of the drivers. And they'll be setting off in just a few seconds after the... There we go. The official is happy with where everyone is placed. "25 minutes of semifinal B action for Formula One from Lostallo in Switzerland. And Mickelberger already off to a good start, gapping second place, who's got his own gap back to third. Laville has dropped back as they cross the line. So it's Mickelberger, Garcia, and Luscher. Laville still in the bump-up position into the main final, but followed very closely by Fabregas, Bomission, Dada, Visser, Buxton, and Pruim, the rest of the running order. Huge gap now for Marcus. Garcia chased by that Tiffany green car of Lusher. Mickelberger, Garcia, Lusher, and LaVille still are running order. So the camera is focusing on Roger Lusher in that car 4, and someone's gone over. Is that lap traffic? Can't have been our leader, can it? Spin out at the end of the coming onto the sweeper, actually, just before the straight. These cars 450 millimeters wide. 630 mil wheelbase, I believe it is. 630 or 650. Another car being rescued there by mechanic. Mickelberger, fastest lap, 25.3 miles ahead of Garcia, Lusher, and LaVille. So 5 seconds in between all of these drivers now. And Fabregas, 9.5 seconds behind LaVille. Mickelberger with a handy lead. It's about 8 seconds for Mickelberger, and Garcia and Lusher pretty close together on track. So that's who we're following. Garcia in the red. Lusher, I think, in that. No, Lusher's not. Garcia's not in the red. Garcia is this white and blue. Retro Williams scheme, looks like. Lusher in that Tiffany green. LaVille in the yellow and red, but chased very hard by, sorry, that's Fabregas and LaVille. So Fabregas in the yellow and red. So he's gotten past LaVille. They're just about a second apart on track, which with 21 minutes remaining, a second apart is nothing. But to really pile the pressure on, you need to be within about a quarter of a second or a third of a second. And it looks like Lusher's gotten past Garcia. Yes, he has. So Lusher now in that Tiffany green, going to try to make up some of that 10.2 second deficit to Mickelberger. It's a big, big gap. However, if so, luckily because these cars are open wheel, they it doesn't seem like there were any there was any contact. So Lusher and Garcia able to push on. Fabregas now just a couple 2.3 seconds behind Garcia. So Garcia might be getting chased down for third. But remember, Fabregas is these in the semifinals. Top 4 drivers bump up. So it's a little bit different than in the subfinals. So top 3 bump up in the subfinals. Top 4 bump up in the semis. So we finish in the top 4, and you'll move up into the main final, which will be kicking off later today after lunch. Our lunch break ends at 1:30. That's when we'll see the main final for Formula large scale here in Lostallo. We want to thank Pullstart for providing the images. My name is Frank McKinney from RC Racing TV. We've got Matt and James doing all of the technical stuff. And we want to thank our sponsors, of course, RC Fox, rccaronline.de, SCS M2, Samba airboxes and exhausts, and of course Mechatech Racing Components. If you want to know more about organized racing in your country, visit EFRA.ws for rules, regulations, schedules, and more. And there's Fabregas going through the chicane, followed as closely as possible by, sorry, that's not Fabregas, that was Lusher, followed by Garcia. And going through the chicane once again. Garcia not trying to put a lot of pressure on Lusher. So Mickelberger miles ahead, literally miles ahead. Like it's got about a 15-second lap gap there. You can see on screen there, 15.8-second lap. It's going to start getting big again, but if it gets any bigger, I should say. He's already lapping pretty much everybody else. But the top positions 2 through 5, he's going to be lapping them very soon. So we got a battle between Fabregas and Laville for the final bump-up spot. So we're going to try and focus on them. So we've moved to follow car number 5. That's Carlos Fabregas Carroll. He's already passed Corentin Laville. This is, but Corentin not letting off. Still 16 minutes and 40 seconds left in this one. And these guys running just about a second apart. We'll keep an eye on the running order for the top 3, but Mickelberger, Lusher, and Garcia. Mickelberger so far ahead. Lusher and Garcia just basically pacing each other, but it's this battle for 4th, which is, again, the final bump-up position, Fabregas and Laville. Fabregas in the yellow and red, pretty sure, in the car 5. I think... trying to see if I've missed something here, because I think maybe it's Laville is the yellow and red, and Fabregas is the red Ferrari scheme. Coming underneath our camera now. Mickelberger, Lusher, and Garcia still are top 3 running order, but this is our battle for 4th position. Look how tight that is. Literally under that back diffuser. And someone's gone over. Who is, that's not one, is that one of our, can't see the number. I think that was car 6, who's Bomission. 14.5 minutes left in this race. After this one, we're going to have the semifinal A, another 25-minute race. So as the races get faster and faster, they also get longer and longer. The main final is going to be 30 minutes. And for Formula One, that will be kicking off at 2:50 local time, the Central European time. So make sure and set your alarms. Fabregas still leading Laville. That red car, the Ferrari scheme, being hounded and chased by the French racer Corentin Laville, running the multicolor, mostly yellow and white. The rest of the running order is Mario Dada in car 7 and 6th position, Visser in 7th, it's Sander Visser, and Matt Buxton from the UK running in 8th position in the car 9. Matt, one of our bump-up racers. Mission in the car 6, and Cor Pruim, another one of our bump-up racers, but unfortunately both of those have dropped out of the race for now. So Michelberger, Lusher pulling away from Garcia, but Michelberger has just about come up to lap them. He's already lapped Garcia, and he's about to lap Lusher. So that's how far ahead Michelberger is. Unfortunately, we haven't... Michelberger is going to be possibly racing for third if the pace of Rossignoli and Marino are anything to go by. But he was challenging Marino in the qualifying. Just not quite enough. 12 minutes to go in this one. 25.3 fastest lap for Marcus Michelberger. Laville, what has happened to... Fabregas has fallen out. Dada has now come up into the 5th position. So that is a disaster for Fabregas. We missed what happened there as I was looking at the timing, but Laville now in 4th position, so the final bump-up spot. Laville running about 5 seconds behind Garcia in 3rd, and Dada is about 20 seconds behind him in 5th position. So we have, unfortunately, early race battles, and it looks like we might have a bit of a slowdown in pace, at least in excitement and drama, for the rest of the race. Michelberger has now... What's happened to Michelberger? Michelberger's dropped down to 3rd, possibly 4th. He's dropped down to 4th. So here's the drama. We're not trying to create any. This is just happening on track. We're just... I swear I wasn't talking about him, so I didn't curse him. What has happened? I don't see any frantic movements in the pit lane. Michelberger dropping down to 5th now. Lusher in the lead position. Garcia now in 2nd. Laville now in 3rd. Visser promoted to 4th after Michelberger has fallen out, and Fabregas still with his issues. So, wow, okay. It's all changed. It's all changed. So Lusher, Garcia, Laville, Visser, that's our top 4. Fabregas in 5th. Dada, Michelberger in the car 1, now down to 7th place. The second to last place, just ahead of Matt Buxton. Let's try to figure out what happened. Meanwhile, Michelberger so far ahead. He was literally a lap ahead and lapping everybody. Maybe he just got caught up with Lusher and we missed it off camera. Because Lusher was the next car that he was going to be lapping. Lusher with a 10-second lead ahead of Garcia, so no battle there. Garcia, 12 seconds ahead, 10 seconds ahead now of Laville. Laville, the man on the move. Fabregas, 7 seconds behind Laville. So David, maybe if we can move a car forward to Corentin LaVille in the car 2. And because it seems like he might be catching Garcia and Fabregas possibly catching LaVille. Fabregas now 7 seconds ahead, behind LaVille. So lap by lap, just getting a little bit closer each time. It does appear that they're on the same lap as well. I might be getting it mixed up because they're the lap progress meter seems to be a bit behind, but we're still going to follow LaVille. Actually, I think we have a much closer battle for 4th now between the 5 and the 1. So, David, sorry if we could go back to car number 5 because Michelberger is recovering. He's passed Dada and Visser, and we know he's fast. And so he's done his last lap was a 27.1. Fabregas's last lap was a 27 flat. Both of those drivers faster than LaVille and both of them faster than LaVille and Garcia on their last laps. So Michelberger doing a 26.1 again, half a second faster than the car 5 of Fabregas. So we're following Fabregas now. Fabregas in the, I believe, this red car, or maybe this green, this greenish car. Just having to check my notes and update them. But Michelberger, 26 second lap that time. Last time around, a full second faster than Fabregas. So now they are together on track. Pretty much. Michelberger has got a long lap, a very, very long lap. Michelberger making a huge mistake that time around. Well, unfortunately for us, but very, very fortunately for Fabregas, Michelberger had a 38-second lap that time, losing 11 seconds. Was he just called into the pits for a penalty? I did see a car coming out of the pits, but I'm not sure if that was him or not. So Michelberger back on pace with a 20-second, but it's 0.8 of a second faster, but now he's 12 seconds behind Fabregas. So it's a lucky break for Fabregas. There's just under 6 minutes remaining in this one. So Fabregas is, let's see, Michelberger is going to need, if he's 11 seconds behind and there's 5.5 minutes left to go, Michelberger is going to have to make up basically 2 seconds a lap, which is not going to be possible. He's just on a 25.6 fast lap. Not the fastest, but pretty close to his fastest pace. So whatever happened there, he's just made up another second, almost a second and a half. But it's going to be a very, very tall order for Michelberger to catch Fabregas, and then he will have to pass him cleanly as well, which is going to be a very difficult thing to do. Michelberger crossing the line in just a couple seconds. So let's see what the gap is now. It's now down to 9 seconds. So he's made up basically about a second, roughly about a second per lap, but there's still 4.5 minutes to go. He could do it, actually. He could do it. So there's about 9 laps to go between between everybody, with 27-second laps. With a 25.6 last time around, Fabregas did a 26.8. So now it's a 8-second gap. If Mickelberger actually keeps up on this pace, he will be on Fabregas right at the very end of the run. Now it's a 6.5 second gap last time passed. And we can see on the progress meter, Mickelberger. Oh, there's another car upside down. Who is that? I missed it. I didn't see the marshals. I think Mickelberger is. No, that wasn't Mickelberger. So now it's a 5-second gap. 5-second gap. And there's literally 7 laps to go. 7, maybe 8 laps to go in this race. 25.5 last time around for Mickelberger. 27.1 for Fabregas. These guys getting closer and closer. I'm sure Fabregas's mechanic acting as spotter, just telling him, just keep on your pace. He's catching, but you'll have plenty of time to hold him off, or you'll be able to hold him off. Drive, drive, drive. Just keep going around. Just keep going around. Rubber side down, shiny side up. And last time around, however, Mickelberger just made up a second and a half on Fabregas. This time around, over a second. So now the gap is about 2.5 seconds. So Fabregas will be able to see Mickelberger in his peripheral vision. And he'll just need to stay calm, knowing that the referees will be watching this battle very, very closely. Meanwhile, Lusher, Garcia, Laville, our top 3 drivers, the battle is going to be between Fabregas and Mickelberger for this final 2 minutes. Mickelberger in that orange car, chasing down Carlos Fabregas Carroll. It's going to be a very tough battle indeed. Just under a minute 45 to go now. And Mickelberger now within half a second. They're effectively nose to tail now. And actually catching Corentin Laville in 3rd place in the car 2. Mickelberger starting from pole in this semifinal B, dropping down to 8th position, 7th position, and working his way back up and catching now on the back of Fabregas, all over the back of him. Look at that, how tight it is going through the infield. Next car ahead of them on track, I believe, is Laville. Mixed in with Matt Buxton, who's and coming together between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Familiar story, and we're on the last lap. We're just about to start the last lap, and they're going to have this lap and one more. They're now on their last lap, I think, unless they can maintain the pace. It's going to be tight, actually, if they can have one more lap of battle. Fabregas and Mickelberger together, bumping and barging each other, thinking they're running touring cars, but they've got open-wheel Formula cars down the main straight. Ferrari being chased by Red Bull, and they're avoiding the car that's stuck, and that's who was that got mixed up there? I think that has decided it. Mickelberger is now finished. Fabregas taking 4th. Laville, that was Laville who spun out right at the very end. What a massive loss for Laville, finishing 5th, possibly 6th, but that is Lusher, Garcia, Mickelberger, and Fabregas. Wow, drama right there, literally on the last corners of the semifinal B. Drama, drama, drama. That was a slow burn in the middle there, but yeah, it all came together in the end. It's massively unfortunate for Corentin Laville from France, but a huge, huge sigh of relief for Markus Mickelberger from Germany, starting on pole, dropping to seventh, and working his way up, battling for fourth, and finally, literally on the very last corners, taking third, just ahead of Carlos Fabregas Carroll. So wow, that was pretty intense right at the very end. So seeing the Jaws music. So here we go. We've got the next group out. There's our finishing order, as you can see on screen. Lusher, uh, uh, so Fabregas is the F. Carroll, and then yeah. So here we go. The next group out is already getting ready. Again, 4 drivers to be bumping up into the semifinal A, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes as they finish their warm up. So that is the warm up complete for the semifinal A here for the EFRA large scale touring car in Europe Formula One European Championships in Lostallo, Switzerland at the MRTM Club. Got about a minute and a half before the race kicks off. They will be doing a formation lap and then be set in their grid positions by one of the race officials. So we want to thank SCS M2, RCCarOnline.de, RC Fox, Samba, and Mechatech Racing Components for providing the sponsorship for this weekend's live coverage from Lostallo. The MRTM club is the host club, so had some very unfortunate happenings a few weeks ago, and have been working very hard the last month or so to make sure that the event can happen and go off properly. So we want to thank and just recognize that all the hard work that they have done to make sure that everything goes off well. So the drivers in this one: Sven Grossman from Switzerland beat Lautenschlager from Switzerland, Tony Seiler from France, Ernst Peter Utz from Germany, Licinio Oliveira from Portugal, Andreas Blum and Reinhard Maron from Austria, Martin Mittelstadt from Germany, from Switzerland, Andreas Muller, and from Italy, Maurizio Borsoni. So those are drivers in numerical order, and there you can see cars 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the RB is Grossman. Blue and white is Lautenschlager. And then we've got Seiler and Utz. I'm pretty sure Utz is running the yellow car. Yep. Time has started, and they are off. So the lead two, cars 1 and 2, Utz already passed. What's happened to Seiler? Seiler's dropped way down the order. On the main straight through the infield. Leading pair already getting a gap in between them and running away from third and fourth of Oliveira and Bloom. Utz, unfortunately, way down the order into 10th. So we'll just stick with the leaders for the first few laps and see how things shake out, because the battle for fourth and the final bump up spot is going to be developing, actually. So if we drop back to the number 5 car of Licinio Oliveira, he's got Andreas Blum and Martin Mittelstadt and Tony Seiler and Reinhard Maron all behind him. So it's a freight train battle for third position. Portuguese racer of Oliveira doing his best to stay ahead of Mittelstadt, Seiler, and Bloom. Now they've got a gap now on Muller and Borsoni and Utz, who's working his way back forward. He's gotten ahead of Reinhard Maron. At the lead position of Sven Grossman has, you see there on screen, new fast lap for this race. But we're concentrating on the battle for fourth because, again, that is our final bump-up position to go into the main final. We've already got our 4 drivers from the semifinal B. They're prepping their cars. And they have this race, of course, and the next few semifinals, plus a 1-hour lunch break to get ready. So here's the battle for fourth coming underneath the camera. Tony Seiler in fourth now. Mittelstadt, Blum, and Muller. Seiler catching Licinio Oliveira. Very international race with a couple of Swiss racers leading. Then we have Portugal, France, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, and Austria. So Seiler all over the back of Oliveira, less than a second behind him. .21.5 minutes remaining of a 25-minute semifinal. These racers all trying to get into the 30-minute main final, which is coming up, I think it said at 1:30. Sorry, at 2:50 is the scheduled start time for that, but it could come later. The main finals usually start a bit later because there's a driver presentation and other things. So Seiler's now dropped quite a way back from Oliveira. I think that timing is a little bit. Oh no, sorry, that's the gap to the leader. So yeah, Seiler is all over the back of Oliveira. Seiler is the pink BWT styled car. If you're familiar with large full-size Formula One. So this is actually our battle for second. Three-way battle for second. So it's second, third, fourth. All these drivers together. So it's Lostallo, Oliveira, and Seiler all running together. Now the smart thing to do, again, is to basically just play it safe, because you guys are in the bump up positions. You don't have to beat each other up. But we'll see what happens when the red mist descends. So Grossman 9 seconds ahead of this this group of three cars battling for second. I say battling, but not really close battling. They're following each other. Oh, someone's gone. No, that was a lap traffic, I think. Someone else has just gone over that. I think that's our leader who's just gone over in front of them. So I think Grossman has just nearly flipped the car over. And of course, these being Formula One shaped cars, they're going to be. Let's see what the gap is now. It was 17 seconds, I think. No, it's still 10 seconds. So that was a different car. That was a different Red Bull colored car. So 9.3 is the gap. And Heather W., thank you very much for trying to message Matt. Heather saying, tried to get a message through to Matt Buxton for a proper update as requested. Thank you very much. But I think they were too busy to look at their phones this morning. Can't think why. Absolutely agree. Thank you very much for even trying. I do appreciate it. Well aware that these drivers are just way too busy to, especially on finals day. I did message most of the top drivers that I've been messaging. So Arnoldi, Vaselli, Repetti, Roskam, Vanderbilt. I messaged most of those drivers at Feldman just to wish them luck, all individually, and ask how they're feeling for the day. Marcus Feldman, who's third qualifier overall, saying he will be driving pretty hard in the semifinal. He's going to be starting on the pole position for the semi and try to make sure that he finishes in the top four to bump up. So Grossman now with an 11.5 second lead. Oliveira with about 3 seconds behind Lostallo. So Lostallo pulling away a bit. But he's got Seiler still within a second behind him. 16.5 minutes remaining. Oliveira, Seiler, Mittelstadt, all running very, very close together. All within a second of each other, actually. So super, super tight. That's our group of racers right there underneath the camera. Group of 3 cars with the pink car in the middle. Oh, and was that Lauterslager that just went over, or Oliveira who just went over, needing to get rescued? So yes, we see Oliveira dropping down the order now. So now it is Seiler in third and Mittelstadt in fourth. Oliveira is the mechanic out there. It's the dangers of flipping over. Obviously, it's never a good time to flip over, but the Formula-style cars, being single-seater shaped, they do not like being flipped over. They just kind of stay on their roof, on that roll hoop. So let's let this shake out. Grossman still 12 or so seconds ahead of Lautenschlager. Lautenschlager about 7 seconds ahead of Seiler. And Seiler, it's about 3 seconds ahead of Mittelstadt. Oliveira did get rescued relatively quickly, but he's way down the order. Way behind, and now has Muller chasing him. But I think, Muller and Oliveira are doing the same lap times that time around, and Utz. So Oliveira is going to have a job to do to get past. And Seiler's made a mistake somewhere on his last lap, 30-second lap time. So losing a big chunk of time to Mittelstadt. So if we can follow the car 3, we already are. Thank you, David. So those cars nose to tail together, Seiler and Mittelstadt. Seiler running the BWT scheme and Mittelstadt running the white and red. Just going underneath the camera there, the pair of them, and now onto the sweeper onto the main straight, coming under the bridge camera. We're approaching the halfway mark. Remember, in the touring car categories, no refueling allowed. However, it is allowed, from what I understand of the rules anyway, it is allowed in Formula, but no one's going to be refueling. Like I said, at least in this race, they will be running completely full tanks. 30-minute main finals, 25 minutes semifinals, and we're in the second of the pair of semifinals for Formula. Seiler and Mittelstadt coming under the camera now. The pink car followed by the white and red. Getting a little bit loose there, Mittelstadt. Running out in the marbles. Now Mittelstadt is ahead of Seiler. I was looking away at the timing. That pass happened, and there we go. The red and white car ahead of the pink BWT style car. So Grossman, quite a ways ahead, nearly a lap ahead of Lautenschlager. Mittelstadt catching up to Lautenschlager very slowly and ahead of Seiler. So if we can maybe, just stay with the car 8 as we are. And we'll be watching Mittelstadt try to make up time. 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds behind Lostallo at the moment. Someone getting rescued out there. The mechanics have to act as the turn marshals for their drivers' cars. Turn marshals not allowed out on the track, and the mechanics not allowed to touch any other drivers' cars. It's purely for safety reasons. So we've got Grossman, Lostallo, Mittelstadt, Seiler. Utz has moved up into 5th position ahead of Andreas Muller. Oliveira dropped down the order a little bit more, down to 7th. Marone is in 8th, and Borsoni in 9th. Bloom dropping to 10th position overall. Mittelstadt now about just 1.2 seconds behind Lostallo. So we saw the last race. It started off a bit hectic, and then it slowed down quite a lot. But then it was a slow burn to the final lap, where we saw a very significant change in the order for the bump-up positions. So we'll see what happens this time around. We're well over halfway through this 25-minute race. Nine minutes remaining. Grossman, Lostallo, Mittelstadt. Grossman doing the wise thing. I think pretty much all the racers that end up leading these races all seem to have the same sort of formula. Throw down some very fast lap times. You see Grossman's best lap time at 25.5, a full half a second faster than most of the other racers. But his last lap time was 26.4, so not doing qualifying pace now, and just keeping it steady and maintaining his lead, which is, well, to be fair, pretty significant. It's over 7 seconds now. Lostallo and Mittelstadt nose to tail now. You can see them, the pair of cars that are together coming under the camera now. Lostallo, that Tiffany green car, and Mittelstadt, the white and red. 7.5 minutes remaining. Is Lostallo going to be able to hold off Mittelstadt? Heavy pressure. Let's see what happens here. And he's gotten past, just before crossing the line that last time around, he gotten past. Another car having to get rescued there. So Mittelstadt now, he could try to put his head down and catch Grossman, but he's 19 seconds behind. Lostallo I think possibly the wise money would be to say, just keep driving your race, let Mittelstadt go, and don't try to put any pressure on him, because he does seem to be just faster somehow than Lautenschlager. Seiler, meanwhile, in the 4th position, quite some ways behind Lautenschlager, and nearly over half a lap ahead of Ernst Peter Utz. So Seiler in a very safe 4th position for the final bump-up spot. And if he continues this way for the final 6 minutes, going to be starting in position 10 for the main final. Or, well, position either 9 or 10, or one of those two. The order for the main final, it changes from category to category. So it's either going to be, I think it'll just be based on laps made and best time. So Seiler in a very safe position, possibly catching Lautenschlager. So Lautenschlager, maybe he's used up his tires. So if we can drop back to the car number 2, David, the car number 2, and follow Lautenschlager, because he's falling away from Mittelstadt, and Seiler starting to catch him. Seiler now less than 2.5 seconds behind Lautenschlager. Remember, Lautenschlager's in that Tiffany green car. The next car behind, I think, there's 3 cars. I think the next car behind is Seiler. No, Seiler's in the pink and BWT style body. If my notes are correct. Seiler's made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped back to 5 seconds behind Lautenschlager. So I think he was trying to come through some lap traffic. So a couple of laps ago, we saw Seiler mix up with at least 1 or 2 other cars. And something went wrong somewhere along the way. And he had a very, very slow lap. And he's dropped back quite some ways to Lautenschlager. So, and in fact, Utz has now passed Seiler for 4th position. So Seiler still, is he still stuck? So I can't tell what's happening from the timing. Utz usually runs a yellow and white car, I believe, so that might be Utz there. Lautenschlager safely, very safely in 3rd now, because Utz is very, very far behind. I think Seiler has unfortunately been pulled. No, he's just crossed the timing line now. But he's 2 laps behind Ernst Peter Utz, who's just passed him. So that is massively unfortunate. Seiler with a 1 minute 30-second lap there. That is so he's basically lost 2 laps on his last go around. Utz is a full lap behind Lautenschlager, so 0 threat there. So I suppose we can just go to our leader of Grossman, car number 1, David, if we can, because he's miles ahead of Mittelstadt, or I should say kilometers. My apologies. 10 seconds ahead of Mittelstadt is where Grossman is sitting. And behind Lautenschlager, behind Mittelstadt, is another 15 seconds of clear space, at least on the timing, not on the actual track. But, no, not quite 10, but some time, I must say. It's 5 seconds or so to Lautenschlager. And then it's, it looks like a full lap, because Lautenschlager's just lapped Utz in 4th place. and he is 2 laps ahead of Seiler. Now, there is a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th, and I think 8th as well. But unfortunately, that's not going to affect anything to do with the main final as we come to the last minute and 15 seconds. Grossman way out front. Mittelstadt, a good distance between him and Lautenschlager. It's several seconds. And then even a gigantic distance between Lautenschlager and Utz. So it did come down to the last several laps, but not the last lap itself like we had in the semifinal B. But we are going to have Grossman, Mittelstadt, Lautenschlager, and Utz, surprisingly, going into the main final for the EFRA large-scale Formula European Championships for 2024 as we are counting down the time for the last half a minute. And another, no, that's our timekeeper. Well, no, one of our race officials, I should say, who's going to be waving the checker flag there. I believe it's Fabio from one of our EFRA race officials. 10 seconds left now. 5. And Grossman and Mittelstadt are going to be among the next cars to come across. Oliveira, unfortunately, had some misfortunes during the race, so bad luck for him. Grossman and Mittelstadt cross pretty much together, first and second. Grossman slowed right down, actually, right at the very end. But Grossman going to be starting, I think it's going to be, he's going to be starting towards the front of the grid, actually. I wouldn't have slowed down if I were him because I'm pretty sure the main final starting positions are going to be based off the semi-final finishing time. So I wouldn't have slowed down unless he had some sort of issue with his car and the tires were going or something. So, but impossible for us to know whether that was on purpose or forced. But so the next group of racers out will be the Touring Car Sport B final, and then the A final. These are both 25-minute races. And then we're going to have an hour-long lunch break, just so everybody knows. And if you're watching on the EFRA or RC Racing TV channels, we will be going off air for that lunch break. And there's the final results for you. Grossman, Mittelstadt, Lautenschlager, and Utz. So a great result for them. We will be having an hour-long lunch break after the semifinal A for Touring Car Sports. So that's in 2 races time. And then we'll come back at about 1:30 Central European time for the semifinals for Touring Car Open. So we're going to be going into the warm-up period for the Touring Car Sport class. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Minute race now. Okay, so warm-up period has finished. Race official calling the drivers to bring their cars into the pit lane in numerical order. And this is the formation lap. So if you're familiar with MotoGP and Formula One car starts or race starts, we had the warm-up period, warmed up the tires and engines. And they're headed out to the grid. So drivers in this one, we've got Luca Rowley in the 1 from Italy, Neo Lebescon from Switzerland in the car 2, Thibaut Noel from France in the car 3, from Germany, Stefan Schroeder, Tim Roskamp from the Netherlands in car 5, David Lebescon and from Switzerland in car 6, Torsten Seifert from Germany in the 7, Roman Dohan from France, Guido Mamat from Germany, and Robert Deroux from the Netherlands. Those last 3 are our bump-up racers. So just making sure they're all in the correct starting positions. Race official happy with that. Time has started, and they are off. 20-minute semifinals in the touring car categories. So I apologize if I did say 25 before. I think I did. So Rowley, Lebescon, Noel, Schroeder, Roskam, and David Lebescon running order. It looks like everybody is out, at least across the timing line, in the correct order, or number order. Lebescon trying to put the pressure on Rowley. Just going to try and make notes of, so they've got a yellow and blue of Rowley, followed by the white and orange of Neo. Noel laying down the fast lap time so far, actually, well, at least 25.9. It's pretty quick. Ooh, and Lebescon, Neo dropping down to 5th, it looks like there, having either coming together or just a grip roll or something happening. So that's some bad luck for him. I think it was already down to 3rd by the time they crossed the line, but he's going to be down to 5th now. His father David running 7th last time they crossed the line. Let's see where he is at in the white and blue. Yes. So now Noel in the 3rd spot. 3-second gap to Rowley from Schroeder. And then we got Noel, Roskam, and Lebescon. The Lebescon, the younger, I should say. Actually, he's dropped down even further now. Young Neo down to 9th, possibly 10th. Very bad luck for Neo there. At the front, Roskam now occupying the last of the 4 bump-up positions. The order is changing very quickly, so think Noel is in the pink car. Noel and Rosscam's just taken third now as they've come across. So it must be Rosscam in the pink. And Noel in the yellow and green. Schroeder running second, little bit ahead of them, but Schroeder actually, Roskam catching him very, very rapidly. So Roskam right behind Schroeder. So I might have gotten that wrong. So it's the blue and the yellow is Roskam, and Schroeder running the pink. Yeah, so you can see them going into the infield there, just crossing the line now. So okay, so I've caught up with things. So the mostly yellow and blue is going to be Tebow. The easiest spot is this bright pink car of Schroeder. Coming out of the infield now, under the back section, and then back into the infield. That is Roskam. Now, I told Roskam's father earlier today, I've been not trying to mention Tim too much because of the commentator's curse, but here we are. We are following. This is a very tight battle. I'm sure Hessel will have given Tim's... Oh, and he's a little coming together there. Tim getting stuck on the grass a little bit. Oh no, sorry. No, that was Schroeder who was stuck on the grass. So next time they come across, the time will update itself, and another car is lost in the grass there. So Roskam now up to second. Schroeder down to at least, yeah, coming down across as fourth. So we're just coming up to 14 minutes remaining in this race. Roman Dahan taking over the fastest lap. And it looks like, just scanning the rest of the times, looks like young Neo Leviscon did have to pull off after just 5 laps. So he won't be advancing any further. So it's unfortunate for him, but qualifying directly into the semifinals, it's still a decent result for the young racer. Luca Rowley from Italy leading this one. Tim Roskam from the Netherlands trying to catch him. 7 seconds behind. T-Ball Noel a few seconds behind Roskam. And Stefan Schroeder a few seconds behind Noel. So that's our top 4 positions. Now, there is still hope for the Lebescon family because David Lebescon, the father of Neo, is about 4 seconds behind Tim Roskam now, who's dropped to 4th position. So if we could go to the car 5, please, David, and follow him. Just ahead of this group. So I think the Lebescon, I think it was a blue and a white car or a white and a blue car. So it looks like Roskam now pulling away from Lebescon. So something happened to him off camera. I believe it was another coming together with Schroeder, possibly. That's who the cameras are following at the moment. Roscam now ahead of Schroeder once again. It looks like it was a clean pass. You can see them coming across there now. There's Schroeder in that pink car. Pretty sure, no, that white and light blue car, I don't think that is Le Visconde. No, that is Seifert. Oh, and Roscam makes a mistake coming onto the straight. Happened right in front of our camera. And so now it is Roscam and Schroeder, again, nose to tail, but swap positions again this time. So this is the battle for third and fourth. It's getting heated now. We're just about halfway through. 20-minute race. 10 down, 10 to go. Luca Rowley has been our leader from the start. We have seen some of our leaders in these finals start on first and drop well down the order, and some recovered and some haven't. Luca Rowley, hopefully no misfortune comes to him. The Italian racer has been leading this one from the start of the race, hoping to make it a flag-to-flag victory. Thibault Knoll running second, some, 13 seconds behind Tim Roscam and Stefan Schroeder from the Netherlands and Germany, respectively. Trying to make this interesting for us. Maintaining the drama with passes and very slight mistakes, back and forth, swapping positions a couple times now already. So it looks like they're going to keep it up, at least for this middle part of the race. And someone has gone flying into the grass there, but not bothering these two. Unless, oh, was that Schroeder? Was that Schroeder? No, that wasn't, and it wasn't Roscam either. I'm pretty sure, anyway. So that was neither Roscam nor Schroeder. Schroeder's very easy to pick out, but Roscam has the fairly typical sort of large-scale RC race scheme. Very sharp lines and multicolored designs. Romain Dahan, another fastest lap from him, but he's not making much inroads on Torsten Seifert. So Roscam is the car we're following. He's ahead of Schroeder now by a good margin. Pushing 4 seconds, and looks like he's making up some time possibly on Noel. It's only a couple seconds behind Noel now. Luca Rowley way ahead of these guys. So the coming battle looks like it's going to be between Roscam catching Thibault Noel. Battle for second with a 3 and the 5 car. So we're following Roscam now. And I haven't mentioned this yet in this race at least, but he is the son of former world champion Hessel Roscam. So I'm sure Hessel, with 6 minutes to go now, I'm sure Hessel will have given young Tim some very gentle fatherly advice. Just to drive smooth, drive your own race, and don't really worry too much about what the rest of the drivers are doing. So it's a lap traffic that Tim is passing there. So Roscam now completing the pass on Noel. So maybe that wasn't lap traffic then. I don't have anything written down for Noel's paint scheme. I think they're very, very similar, so I must have gotten them mixed up. So Schrodinger now still quite a ways ahead of Noel. The gap between Noel in fourth and Schroeder in third is, let's see, just as Noel is crossing the line now. So it's about 4 seconds. So if we drop back, David, to the car number 4 of Stefan Schroeder, actually the car 3 of Thibault Noel, because David Lebescon now is just a couple seconds behind him, and that's our battle for fourth. So that's our battle for fourth. It's the last bump up position. So Lebescon trying to make it salvage something here for himself and young Neo, his son, who dropped out early on in the race after just a couple minutes. Let's see if we can identify. They're only a couple seconds apart on the track, and actually yeah, I think Lebescon made a very no. He's fallen back just a tiny bit. Let's see. So it's the number 3 car we're trying to spot with 3 minutes left in this one. Meanwhile, Dahan had just set fastest, was catching Lebescon, but now Seifert has passed Dahan. So I think Dahan had he had a very slow lap, 46.7 seconds. So he must have had to get marshaled by his mechanic. You see him marshal crossing back over the bridge over the main straight. That's to keep the marshals and mechanics safe. So anyway, Noel is who we're and Lebescon has completed the pass. Look at that, going through the infield just before the finish line. That white and blue car is Lebescon. And so that is going to be a pretty good result for him if he can hold it for the next 2 minutes. It looks like Noel's tires maybe have simply just gone off because he's falling further back behind Lebescon. Just wasn't able to hold it. Tires, very, very important for, well, basically all motorsports, whether it's scale, motorcycle, full size, or any, because it's your only contact with the ground, of course. So Rowley leading from flag to flag. Roskam doing a very good job to go from fifth into second. Schroeder holding third from fourth place on the grid, and Labuscon salvaging something for the Labuscons in this one, because young Neo started in second, and with a minute to go, he's well into the fourth place position to be bumping up into the main final for the Touring Car Open here. The first time that there's a European Championship for the, sorry, not Open, the Touring Car Sport class. So 40 seconds left in this one. Labuscon coming out of the infield into the back section of the track. 30 seconds left. And with just a quarter of a minute left to go, race official there, ready, Fabio, to wave the checker flag as soon as the finishing horn sounds. And that will be Rowley finishing in first position. Roskam, young Tim Roskam, finishing in second. Stefan Schroeder in third. And David Lebescon in fourth. So great job for everybody. And plenty of on-track action in that one to cheer about for everybody. So there's our finishing order: Rowley, Roskam, Schroeder, and Lebescon. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes at the end of the warm-up for, actually, no, we won't be, because that is our last race for the morning program. Sorry, no, there's one more race. We will be back in a couple minutes, just at the end of the warm-up for the semifinal A for Touring Car Sport. And we'll be back in just a couple minutes. So you've been watching the EFRA large-scale European Championships for Touring Car and Formula One for 2024 from Lostallo in Switzerland. Thank you very much to SCSM2, RCCarOnline.de, RC Fox, Mechatech Racing Components, and Samba. And of course to EFRA. EFRA.ws is the organizer and of this event. EFRA is the European Federation of Radio-Controlled Automobiles. Thank you very much to the MRTM Club for hosting this event, and also to pullstart.tv for the video. My name is Frank McKinney from RC Racing TV. So make sure and stick around. We have one more race in the morning program before our hour-long lunch break. So make sure and keep watching, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So there's our race officials getting the cars in number order before they head out of the pit lane. This is going to be their formation lap. So they have 5 minutes in between the races and several so a few minutes of warm up, and then they're called in at the 2-minute mark to come into the pits. So they don't really need to be refueled, but it's not a terrible idea. It only adds a little bit of weight, but here we go. Race official is going to be heading out onto the track. There you can see him there. RD, race director. So number 1 car of Oppenhorst. And time has started and they're off. So everyone off, no major dramas so far. Everyone in number orders have come out and everyone is checked in. So all good on this first lap. Looks like someone just went into the grass there, but I'm not sure. Battle's already forming. Looks like Finardi in that yellow and white and yellow car. And Giolotti in the white and blue. Trying to make sure that they've got a good gap between the battle for 4th, which is between Kisela and Mielke. So if we just stay with these lead cars. Following them very closely. So we've got a group of 3 and a group of 2. Oppenhorst, early fastest lap, but then very quickly taken by Kisela and Mielke. Not much in it on the fastest lap times, 26.3s for all 3 of those, and just down to thousandths of a second. So still cars 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in order. Orsigos has moved ahead of Spilut. Jarenka, Orsigos, and Spilut are bump-up racers. So battle for 9th is raging. Oppenhorst, Finardi, Giolotti, Kisela. That's our 1st through 4th positions. Kisela and Mielke, that's our battle for 4th. So if we can start to focus on these 2 cars just under the car now. So Kisela in the all white. Mielke. I think that's white and blue, white, yellow, and blue. There's another white and blue car, but that's our 3rd place of Giolotti. Someone needing to get rescued there. I think we're starting to see lap traffic already. So leading 3 and then leading 3rd and 4th and 5th. "17 minutes remaining." If we can move to car number 4 there, David, please. We're battle for 4th again. Final bump-up spot. Semi-final A. And they are coming through some lap traffic there, or a car of lap traffic. So I believe it's going to be Jurenka in car 8. Yes, it is. And he's letting them by. Very good. Don't want to get mixed up in a lead battle, and especially a bump-up battle. So everyone has gotten past Jurenka now. So now we have, it looks like it's, ooh, and someone's crashed out. I think that may have been Kisela. Just at the 15.5 minute mark. We'll see. I think, yes, that is Kisela. So Milka now moving into fourth. Vesera has moved into fifth. Kisela dropping way down the order now. So let's see how this affects things. So if we move the cameras to the car 5, please, David. That's going to be Michael Milka in the car 5 in fourth position, being chased by Rudy Vesera. And I do apologize. I know I'm butchering that name, but that's how it reads anyway to me in my super limited French. Yeah, so cars 5 and 6, you know, Milky and Vesera, Michael and Rudy. It's much easier for me to say as an American. But that is our chasing pair of cars who are trying to battle, but also chase down Oppenhorst, Fernardi, and Giolitti. Try to see which car color combination Vesera is. Milky in the white, yellow, and blue. I think Vesera is in the white and orange. Someone just nearly tipping over there. I couldn't tell if that was a lap traffic or not. So we got a change in the top 3 now. Milky up into third. Giolitti still running. And just ahead of 5th position Vesera. So an ever-changing battle here in the bump-up positions. So 3rd and 4th, Milky and Giolitti, followed by Vesera. And they're trying to chase down Fernardi, but they're a couple seconds behind, or a few seconds behind, and he's just a couple seconds behind Oppenhorst. So loads of movement here in the top 5 and 6 positions with 13 minutes remaining. There's plenty of action, plenty of time for more action to come. Oppenhorst with a 25.8 second fastest time. These drivers trying to put the pressure on and meanwhile trying to escape the attentions of all the cars behind. Oppenhorst, Fernardi, Milke, Giolitti, and Vesera. Ralph Kisela, one of the big losers in that battle because it's a 4-car train and he's dropped to the back of it. Looks like we're getting ever closer between Milke and Giolitti as well. They're on within half a second of each other. So Giolitti, that pink, white, and blue. And Milke in the white, yellow, and blue. Just under a car camera there. Vesera in the white and orange. These three cars all running together, slightly different lines coming out of there, and you can see how that affects the follow distance that they've got to the car ahead and behind. Oppenhorst still leading this one by a good distance, 2.8 seconds. Not as big as the leads we've seen from some of the other leaders in these lower finals. Well, this isn't a lower final, it's a semifinal. But in some of these other subfinals that we've been watching, massive leads for the leaders. 2.5 seconds now back to Bernardi. And further, well, about almost 3 seconds back to Milky. And then it's just less than a second to Giolitti. And again, less than a second to Vesere. Kisela now ahead of Frette and Osigus, but about 9 seconds behind Vesere. So he had a very long recovery. It's going to be very difficult. He's going to need to make up a half a second a lap to even get close to Vesere, and then he'll still have another second half to catch Giolitti, and that's all within 9 minutes. So it's going to be a tough ask, but it could be possible. It depends on if Giolitti and Vesere make any sort of mistakes in the 8 minutes and 45 seconds that remain in this race. So Giolitti dropping back behind Milky and Vesere. So he had a slow lap of 29 seconds. And this one's going to be even longer, I think. Oh, no. He's just crossed. So his previous lap was 29 seconds, so he's lost 3 seconds there. So succumbing to the pressure somehow to Milky and Vesere. Ahead of them, Fernardi in second place, and Oppenhorst still with a healthy lead, but it is slowly diminishing. So Paolo Fernardi may be trying to make a charge in this last half of the race. 7 minutes and 15 seconds left. We'll see what happens. Vesere now about a second and a half behind Milky. Running order: Oppenhorst, Fernardi, Milke, Vesere, Giolitti trying to recover. There's 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in this one, which is going to be the final race before our hour-long lunch break. So if you're watching on Pullstart, RCTV, or EFRA, whether it's YouTube or Facebook for any of those providers, channels, whatever you want to call it, Yes, we will be going off air. There won't be any racing on track, basically. There might be some people kicking a football around, or some kids driving a little buggy or a monster truck or something. But there won't be any large scale cars going around. Um, just mention that while we have a little bit of a break in the action, as Racer A is now very rapidly catching up to Milka, and we are following them on the cameras. So these two cars who are just slowly getting closer and closer together, the white and blue and the white and orange cars, are who we're talking about. Milky in the white and blue, Racer A in the white and orange. So we'll be going off air on RCTV and EFRA. So make sure to follow the page, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, etc. And that isn't just something we say. That's something we absolutely need to make sure that we get fantastic sponsors like SCS M2, RC Fox, RCCarOnline.de, Samba, and Mechatech to support the streams and these live broadcasts from amazing facilities like this, the MRTM Club in Lostallo, Switzerland, just on the border of Italy and Switzerland, literally directly north of Lake Como. So 4 minutes left. And Oppenhorst has now fallen victim to Fernardi as Fernardi taking over the lead spot. Vesseray still chasing Milke. There are a couple of other battles going on further down the order with Kisela, Osigus, and Jurenka. Actually, it's Osigus and Jurenka. Kisela is a lap ahead of them, but Kisela is chasing Giolitti. Giolitti somehow, for some reason, falling out of third and down into fifth, having a couple of very long laps. So now it's Vesseray chasing Milke, and Oppenhorst falling out of first, possibly tires after a 20-minute run. Maybe running soft tires instead of medium, or medium tires instead of hards. We don't really know. So Vesseray in that white and orange car, still trying to chase Milke in the white and blue. Two and a half minutes remaining. So leading order is Fernardi in the car 2 is in first position. Oppenhorst in the car 1 is in second. That order only just recently changed the last couple of laps ago. Milka still holding off Vesseray. With a minute and a half to go. And just as a reminder, the semifinals for large-scale open class will be kicking off right the very first thing after our lunch break. So that's going to, let's see, we're running about 9 minutes behind, or 10 minutes behind. So with 1 minute left in this race, Fernardi, Oppenhorst, Milke, and Vesseray. There goes our leaders underneath the cameras there in the white and yellow and the yellow and orange. So at 1:30 local time, we will kick off with the last of our semifinal pair of races for large-scale open touring car. So that's the much faster guys. Racers like Roskam, Vanderpoel, Feldman, Baselli, and more. And they will be starting off at 1:30 local time for a 20-minute race. And then the semifinal A. And then we'll have the Formula One drivers will be starting their race at 2:50 local time and 3:50 and then 4:50 for the open class. So meanwhile, the semifinal A for touring car sport just coming to an end now. You see the checker flag being waved by young Fabio there, our EFRA representative. Paolo Fernardi taking the win. Marcus Oppenhorst in second. Michael Mielke in third. Rudy Vesseray in fourth. So Giolitti and Kiesela dropping out of the order and out of the bump up spots for this one. So Fernardi, Oppenhorst, Mielke, and Vesseray will be in the main final, and we'll have that. You can check out the live timing and the results and everything you need to see who exactly is in the main finals for all of these. Give the sport class here that we've just finished a minute or so to update in the computer, and then that information will be sent to the myrcm.ch website, and you can get the all of the information you need there. The semifinals for open class will be kicking off at 1:30 local time, and that's Central European time. So make sure to adjust your notifications properly. If you want to be notified on your device, TV, computer, etc., make sure you have subscribed and follow the pages for EFRA, RC Racing TV, and Pull Start. And we'll be back at about 1:30, actually a little bit before 1:30 Central European time for large scale open class semifinal B. Both of the semifinals will be then, and then we'll go into the main final for Formula One at 2:50 local time. Sport main final will kick off at 1:50 local time and 4:50 local time. So it's 3:50 for the UK and Portugal. So make sure and set your alarms, like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you in about 50 minutes once again.